purpose of this video is to teach you how to tie what we call the end of the line bowline. It's best used so you can get a loop at the end of a line that turns out to be very useful in the labs that we do. So the first thing you do is you take the end that you want the loop on, that's this end here, and you drape it across your hand, and the end that you want the loop on is going to be opposite your thumb right here, so it's opposite your thumb. Then you just take your fingers, put your thumb away from your other thumb, and then you twist it and lay the loop on top of itself like that. So you have a loop that comes from the end you want the loop on, it comes up around just like that. So make sure you have that. So again, you might want a little more string than that. So I take my thumb, you can just basically put your thumb on your pinky, put your other finger, and then you're just twisting it up, pulling the bottom part up and lay it over like that. So then the next thing you're going to do, we're going to grab this part of the string up here, I'll put the loop back in it, and put it down through the loop. Now some of you, if you've been taught this knot before, there's some little saying about a rabbit going through a rabbit hole. I don't know how to do it that way. But if you already know how to do it that way, then that will work fine. So I'm going to take this string, the loop here, the loop on the top, and I'm going to bring it down through. So now I have that. So I have this loop inside the other loop again. So I had this, and we'll start all over. So I take this, I twist it, I had the loop, then I take this part of the string up here and I stick it in the hole. This string is going to go in the hole, so I'm going to put a loop inside the hole. I think there's some little saying about a rabbit going through the hole. You may need to take your hands like this, okay? So I've got this loop in here, looks like this. Okay? So you've got this loop inside the hole. So it looks like that. We'll try it again in a minute if you have trouble. Then you take, to make your loop, you'll take the free end and I stick it through the hole. Doesn't really matter which way you do it. And then I hold it and I hold it back on itself like this. Then all you have to do, this part right here, where my pinky is, that's going to be the loop I end up with. So I just pull this and it falls right over that loop. And now I have a loop. That is really handy to be able to do. Turns out to be really easy to get rid of, because if I want to untie it, this part right here, the knot, all I have to do is pull that, tug that out, and the knot comes right apart. Now if you put a lot of weight on it and it gets tight, sometimes it's hard to get out. So, if you didn't get the first time, let's try it again. I'm going to drape this how I always do it. I drape it over my hand, and then I put my thumb away from my thumb, and I twist it and I lay it over. Then you're going to take the top, take this loop, and you're going to stick in this hole right like this, right like that. Okay, so I've got a loop inside the hole. Then you take the end that's free and you put it through the loop that's inside the hole. And then I pull it and make sure the loop tightens around the loop I have my hand on. Okay, this loop right here, as you can see, that loop right there goes around this loop right here. So loop around a loop. And you tighten it, and when you're done it looks like this. When you're done, you should have this loop goes around the string that's coming out of the knot, has a little loop around here, and you just pull and tighten. It looks like that. Let's try it one more time. If you haven't gotten it, that's fine. We can start over. It's just a matter we can get individual help if you need it. But once you practice this, you will be tested on this. Everybody needs to be able to tie this knot, okay? So again, I keep the string I want, the end I want the loop is away from my thumb. I put my thumb away from my thumb, and I twist it up, I didn't give enough string that time. I twist it up. Okay, so I have a loop that looks like this. Here's the end I want free, and that goes on top of the string. This could actually be tied to something over here. This doesn't have to be free at all. Then I'm going to take this loop and I'm going to stick inside here. So I grab a part of that, the upper string, and I pull it down. So I have to have some slack. So now I have that string. So the upper part went inside the circle. So I've got this little loop inside my circle. Then I take my free end and I put it through that hole, through that loop that I put inside my circle, and I make another loop. Then I'm going to tighten my string around this part right here. This part that my thumb and my forefinger have. That's the part that the string is going to go right around that when I tighten it. So I just pull it, and you see how this string is going to go around this horseshoe kind of shaped loop. And I just tighten it up. See how that's going to look? And that is an end of the line bowline.